One of the most misunderstood, overused, and nebulous terms in the world of fitness is functional training. And despite the fact that you can make a case for anything being quote unquote functional, some modes of exercise are labeled as such more than others. These include kettlebells, suspension trainers, bodyweight calisthenics, and even my beloved Total Gym. So in this video, I'm gonna get into why I don't like the term functional training being lumped into the Total Gym, and I'll break down what I believe are the proper terms or terminology that I would use to describe Total Gym or sliding bench training. Of course, this is just my opinion, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it down below in the description box. And as always, if you guys like this content, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. Everything featured in this video can be found down below if you guys want to help support me and the channel. All right, a very brief history on the term functional training is worth noting before we get going here. The term really started growing in our popular nomenclature in the 90s, and then it reached its apex in, I would say, the early 2000s, which for me was the formative years of me coming into the fitness industry. And if I'm honest, this whole world of functional training, or this new advent of kind of knowledge and sharing information, is it really kind of got me passionate about studying further into the exercise sciences rather than just focusing in on bodybuilding and resistance training. Now, the term really came from well-respected and intentioned fitness professionals such as Gary Gray, Gray Cook, Mel Siff, and of course Paul Chek, who is notoriously famous for bringing other functional training tools into the gym fitness sphere, such as stability balls and really using medicine balls to their full advantage. And he's also probably the first person who really got me involved with sliding bench training, specifically total gyms. And that's where I really think the relationship between a total gym and functional training really started to have its origin, because Paul Chek, being one of the originators of functional training, was a huge proponent of using total gyms as a great source of functional fitness across populations. But I'd say personally, the ultimate birthchild of the functional training movement really was CrossFit, which would take all these different disciplines and philosophies and kind of blend them into what was the highlight or climax of that time period, and kind of dubbed itself the best and most functional form of fitness. But eventually, over time, functional training started to kind of get criticized, with a number of questionable training methods and claims started to be seen. These are things notoriously such as squatting on top of stability balls with weights and free weights, and even dumbbells and barbells. Granted, I was even guilty of this back in the day. And before I even forget, guys, as much as I'm criticizing functional training, I know that functional training is still part of my own vocabulary. But I'd say the ultimate problem with functional training is that since it can kind of mean anything and be applied to anything, it ultimately does mean nothing. So if I can say both standing on a stability ball is functional and squatting under a barbell is also functional, then what really is not considered functional training? But I'm definitely sympathetic, and I understand where people are going with that term, even if they can't adequately define what it means, which is honestly an epidemic across the fitness landscape.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
But I think at the very least, people can maybe identify what functional training is not, or at least in their minds what it's not. And what I think in most people's minds are static, fixed, free weight machines, which in my opinion has kind of gotten a bad rap, and also in my opinion can also be dubbed functional to a certain extent. Because I'd say if someone's goal is to build muscle and strength, what provides a more functional quote unquote application to applying stress to a muscle to get stronger to daily life? A leg press or a stability ball squat. But again, I do understand and respect where people are coming from, and agree with the basic notion that doing more open skilled multi-joint exercises, or at least incorporating them to a certain degree, will help translate to daily living and therefore make you more and more quote unquote functional. Which leads us into the total gym specifically, and I still find that many total gym advocates still float the term functional training as a primary selling point of a total gym or a sliding bench trainer, which again, I probably said this as well, but that's not really what I want to present to you all and how I'd like to sell the benefits of this machine, because then I believe it already is selling the machine short of its versatility and capability. So then personally, what would I classify or sell these machines as? I would simply say they're a resistance training fitness tool that allows you to train your whole body in an efficient, versatile, and effective way. Yes, you can get cardiovascular benefits in the machine in unique ways, but primarily this machine is most effective at resistance training. If I asked you, for instance, what is a barbell or a dumbbell primarily used for, your common answer would most likely be it's a tool for resistance training. You probably wouldn't classify these things as a functional training device or a tool for cardiovascular training or something for increasing flexibility, all of which are true claims and how you can actually use the tools, but its primary purpose is resistance training. So by calling a total gym a functional training machine or a method of functional training, in my opinion, it poorly sells what it's capable of, and I believe this is one of the many reasons why so many people don't use it to its full potential, and maybe you discard it completely. So in wrapping up, guys, I would say in recent years, I've noticed the total gym has been less and less marketed away from being a functional training fitness tool, more applicable terms such as being a strength training machine, or at least a focus on resistance training. And so I hope and do believe that this channel has played at least a somewhat of a pivotal role, as well as many of you guys, in spreading the sliding bench training gospel and how you can get awesome home resistance training workouts on one simple machine. But that's just my takeaway, guys. Love to hear your opinions and thoughts on it. I'm just one person out here in the total gym wilderness, so it's really up to you guys to get out there to spread the news and let other people know there is another way to achieve your resistance training goals, and in my opinion, a more superior way other than traditional barbells, dumbbells, free weights, and squat racks, and things of the like. So that's it, you guys. See you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.